that the bourse is again up. Any signs of profit takers?
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Yes, the bull continued its dominance on the market today on account of improved investors' confidence on the market. And we see GTB appreciating today. We see the Berry Giant appreciating further again. We equally see Nestle appreciating. And we think investors are just taking position ahead of good benefits, corporate actions ahead of the year.
Well, let's look at the broader economy of Nigeria. On Saturday, the 3-month-old peace deal was called off by the militants in the Niger Delta. Our research analyst from Securities Africa is saying that because of the peace deal was called off and there's an absent leader, the economic outlook for Nigeria could change. What is your take on that?
Yes, but if you look at the structure of Nigerian economy, I think the performance of Nigerian economy is basically driven by non-oil sector of the economy, which accounts for about 85% of the total GDP. Last year, you discovered that non-oil as at Q3 grew by about 8%, while oil sector grew by about 0.2%. Yes, and before that time, about 8 quarters before that time, the oil sector had been declining on account of the problems we have there. But if you look at the fact that non-oil dominate the economy, yes, the economy might decelerate in terms of its growth as a result of the call-off, if there's actually a call-off, but then not to the extent of contracting significantly because of the fact that agriculture dominates the economy and non-oil account for about 85% of the economy.
Well, when you say that it won't decline significantly, let's take a look at that. Growth is expected to be at between 7 to 8% this year in Nigeria, mainly on the back of oil prices. And last year we saw, because of the oil prices, the economic outlook for Nigeria did change. So how much of growth is going to be revised this year?
No, as I mentioned earlier, the growth outlook that we have for the economy is not on account of rising oil prices. Yes, in Nigeria today we have oil, crude oil accounting for about 80% of the total export and accounting for about over about 90% of the foreign exchange earnings. But in terms of the output, non-oil account for a significant portion of the output in Nigeria. Like I mentioned earlier, oil and gas and at Q3 2009 accounted for just 15%. So even though if there is a marginal decline in output in oil, crude oil, and the price of oil, it's not going to change the growth forecast for the economy significantly. And so if we have 7% to 8% growth forecast for 2010, and there is a disruption somewhere in the Niger Delta, yes, it may just decline marginally, but not to the extent of coming down to as low as half of that, no.
Well, our researcher at Securities Africa would definitely disagree with you there, but let's carry on. On the back of having an absent leader in Nigeria, which is affecting investor sentiment, how much of the growth outlook has to be revised?
Well, we do not, in terms of, if I get you right, your question right, in terms of growth outlook this year, in the GDP, we still maintain our growth forecast of 7% to 8% to end the year.
All right, take us through how investor sentiments are being affected in the country right now.
Definitely they are, because a major concern in the economy now is just the polity. It appears that we are not making so much progress there on account of what is happening in the presidency. There is issues of properly handing over to the vice president on account of the fact that the president is indisposed at the moment. But we think that if that one is taken care of in the medium to long term, we are going to have a good growth rate in the economy, and investors will actually come back to the market to invest as well. Don't forget again about the fact that the current prices we have in stock market is quite low, and investors are looking at them as opportunity for them to key in now in anticipation of good return ahead.
Well, staying with the broader economy, there's an ongoing 2-month-old fuel scarcity in Nigeria, and it's expected to carry on till next month. Will investments to the oil sector drop?
Now, we have maintained that the investment, the only factor that can encourage investment in the oil sector in Nigeria is full deregulation of that sector. You can't expect government to continue with the huge subsidies that we have there and expect that private sectors will bring their funds to the market, to the sector to invest. No, but if there is a clear-cut, if there is full regulation, that can encourage private investment into that sector. But except there is that full regulation, I see no reason how. I do not see any way and any incentive for private capital to enter that sector. And there are publications, there are reports that the fact that the president is not in the country at the moment is not allowing the deregulation policy to take place. But I think these are just minor issues that as soon as they are resolved, that's the best way to go. And the private capital and the private investment will come to the sector.